good afternoon, good evening, my dear friends. Thanks for joining in and welcome to yet another webinar. And today we're going to talk about the death of old ABM. And for all of you who do not know me, my name is Ritesh Osta. I'm the founder of Insight Tap, my company, and I'm also one of the top rated Fiverr Pro freelancer in the category of B2B marketing, AI agent, AI app development, performance marketing, and so on. So this webinar series that I'm conducting is me imparting, sharing my knowledge to all of you. I'm not here to sell anything. All the information that I'm going to give away is going to be completely free. And, just let me know if you have any input, comments. Please like, subscribe if you have not done already. And having said that, let's jump right into the topic. The death of old ABM and 5 shifts that will define the B2B marketing in the age of AI. Okay, so it is not just define, it is redefine. And I believe that's a very accurate term to be used here. So for everybody who do not know what ABM is, I want to give a glimpse of that as well. For anybody who is into B2B enterprise sales marketing, they know what ABM is. And there are so many questions that is now popping up, coming to me regularly, which I'm answering to students, to clients, to people who are inquisitive about it. So I'm constantly every single day talking to different people, answering their questions, and also learning in the process a lot. So today we are going to talk about what was old ABM, account-based marketing, and how is it shifting because of the AI and the automation, in full swing. All right. So I'm very excited about this topic. I hope that you are also excited. Please get your pen and paper ready if you want. This is going to be a long one. And please write on the comment section if if you find it interesting or if you have any questions. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so let me first talk about the B2B tribe. Okay, so we are living in the age of AI. So AI is disrupting, affecting, transforming every single industry and every single tech stack. Okay, so the tech stack which was active 5 years back is being disrupted thanks to AI and automation, in full swing. So we are going to talk about the convergence of account-based marketing, the traditional ABM, the demand generation, which is going through its own shifts, and then in the middle of it, artificial intelligence, right? So you've got the account-based marketing, the demand generation, and in the middle, the AI, sitting, and how this whole transformation is happening and how B2B marketing is ushering into a new era. All right. So we will talk about all these three things together and how it affects your business. If you're running a B2B based software business or enterprise tech business or any other B2B business, this is super important for you to learn as soon as possible so that you do not miss the train. Okay. So in this particular workshop, we are going to talk about the core shift. Okay, so there is some core shift that is happening. And the core shift is happening primarily around the workflows. Okay, so for everybody who has created a workflow, whether it is in Salesforce or HubSpot or Zoho or any other CRM automation, CDPs, whatever tool you are using, if you have used workflow for any enterprise-based ERP or CRM software, you know what I mean by using the term manual, right? So manual means there is a workflow. You want certain steps to complete. Step number 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So traditionally, I'm talking about the traditional ABM. If you want the workflows to happen, the work will flow, right? So there is work number 1, 2, 3, 4, or task number 1, 2, 3, 4, and it will happen, sequentially, unless there is an if else condition and all, so if anybody of in you who are programmer, you know how programming language works, right? Step 1, 2, 3, 4 in sequence, or if else condition, case conditions, and like so you put up the conditions, and based on those conditions the work will flow, in a sense that a task will happen. uh, and then for any workflow to happen, there needs to be a trigger. So the step number 1 is the trigger. You need to put up a condition for the trigger, and then once the trigger happens, the work within the workflow will flow, in a sense that the step 1, 2, 3, 4 will happen based on the conditions that you put in, right? That means for any workflow to work, you have to first imagine the entire flow. You have to plan it out. You have to code them, or if you're using no code, you have to put the conditions in, you have to put the trigger in, and only under this rigid condition the workflow will trigger and run, right? So this is manual. In a sense, you define everything and the workflow will follow certain pattern. That is how traditionally workflows have always operated. So that means there is, instead of intelligence, there are conditions. So for example, if the contact belongs to US, and if the contact is a CEO, and if the contact has done something recently, then trigger this particular workflow, send an email, create a task, send them a WhatsApp message, send them a SMS, okay, send a reminder to your business development rep, and like so on. So this is how the traditional workflow was set up, and it worked in this manner. That means, it was not intelligent, rather it was mechanical, right? That means you have to set the condition, you have to set the criteria. It was labor intensive, it was manual, in the sense you define things, and then that's how it worked. But now we are moving from that manual workflow to what we call as the intelligent workflow. That means the intelligent workflow works something like this. If the contact belongs to this particular industry, right? And if the contact belongs to any C-suite or top level management, if the contact is the right decision maker, right? So you need to, basically train your AI. If the contact, according to you, is the right decision maker, and the criteria for decision makers are this, okay? And if the contact has taken certain actions, then you decide whether sending an WhatsApp message will be better, or sending an email will be better, or sending both will be better. So take a call, take a decision, and then send those information based on that. Now, what I just explained is not possible in traditional workflows, but this is possible in the age of AI. That means you can feed the data, then you can call the ChatGPT, the Claude, the Gemini API. You can train them, fine tune it. You can provide a proper training to the AI, and then let AI take those decisions, the best possible decision. So instead of you saying, hey, you know what? If the person is in US, a C-suite, belongs to this particular industry, he's a CEO, and one more condition filled, then send it. But what if that person is not a CEO? Maybe that person is a director of the company, but he still may be the decision maker, right? Then that workflow will not trigger. Okay. On top of that, you cannot tell them, hey, take your decision whether to send an email or whether to send an SMS. Even that you cannot tell this to the workflow. You have to exactly code what it's supposed to do, and then based on that, it will just do the work. But in terms of intelligent workflows, thanks to AI, a lot of decisions can be made dynamically in the runtime in real time. And you can, change the workflow, update the workflow in real time based on use cases, based on the data which you get, and based on the level of personalization that you want to do. So predictive scoring goes to a next level when it comes to AI based workflows, right? Personalization can go to next level, and there can be a real time optimization of the workflow, something which was not possible previously. So that I believe is a major shift, even though some of you may say, oh, it's just workflow, but no, it's a major shift in terms of how you operate your B2B marketing or B2B sales. It's a major shift. So now the intelligence, you can outsource the intelligence to AI to take better decisions. And sometimes the AI will take a better decision than you yourself, right? In many ways, right? So you may think, okay, the procurement managers are the right decision maker. But if you train the AI, then the AI will continuously train itself and maybe, come up with 3 more decision makers, apart from procurement manager, who can be the decision maker for your product or service. AI can do that. So sometimes AI will, sometimes I think many a times AI is taking better decisions as compared to, the sales rep that you have put in. And the biggest advantage is that AI continuously self-learn and improves. In terms of humans, you have to rely on the intelligence and the experience of that individual. For example, if the sales rep is good, intelligent, experienced, skilled, then they will make a better decision. But if that's not the case, then the decisions will not be very good. That's not the case with AI. AI will be, continuous and consistent in its decision making. All right. Okay. Very important point that we have covered. So here's what manual workflow is. Okay. Some examples of manual workflow is lead capture, manual scoring, generic nurturing, manual handoff. This is what manual workflow can do. Pretty standard stuff that any legacy CRM or systems, marketing automation systems have. And this is something that you will get. In terms of intelligent workflow, AI becomes your co-pilot. It becomes your partner, right? It's like having another partner who has all the information in the world, taking decisions for you and listening to you. You can always optimize the AI, right? You can always fine tune, right? So that means AI can find the real-time intent and real-time enrichment. Based on that data, AI can take decisions. AI can do far better predictive scoring than your manual scoring. Your manual scoring is, if it belongs to US, 5 points. If it belongs to healthcare industry, 5 points. If he's if he's a CEO, CXO, CFO, 5 points. You understand what the point I'm trying to make, right? So it's very rigid, and then any condition that does not fill, and the whole things break. But that's not the case with AI. AI can say, you can say, hey, you know what, take your best decision. It needs to be the best decision maker. The company needs to be within the healthcare industry. The location should be US or US, some of the states in US governed states. And then, take your best decision as to who those people are going to be, and enrich the data if needed. So you can call up certain workflows and enrich the data also as and when needed with intelligent workflows. And AI can do predictive scoring, right? It's not a very rigid scoring, but rather than it is very predictive and very dynamic scoring. That is something that AI can do in real time. And also AI can do dynamic personalization. For example, AI can say, oh, this is not a CEO, but a director of the company. Right. So accordingly, AI can take a decision quickly and update the messaging, update the message of the WhatsApp message, or or an email or whatever, however you want to reach out to. So it can do very high level personalization as well. Maybe AI can also run some workflow to scan the LinkedIn profile, check if there is anything important, and put that in real time within the outreach email. Uh, Basically, do more personalization uh, dynamically, right, on the go. It's totally possible, and the biggest advantage is the real-time optimization. AI can do things and learn as it does and improve. So you can fine-tune it from your end, plus at the same time, AI, in many ways, it can self-learn, right? It becomes better as the process goes on. So I think AI, in my opinion, becomes your co-pilot, your friend in this. It is not a threat to you. Many people think, oh, now my job is gone. That's not the case. You still have to take the important decisions in terms of who you want to target and what you want to target. That is not something that AI will do, but AI can certainly help you optimize and make you more efficient, your system more efficient. Now, another major update apart from workflows and intelligent workflow is what we call as the dynamic A/B test. Okay, so let me talk about what A/B testing is. Okay, for everybody who is not aware of what A/B testing is, A/B testing is basically two variation of a use case for a campaign or anything that you want to test out to see which one performs better. For example, you have a product, you have launched the product, and you launched a landing page, product landing page in your website, and you don't know how the landing page is going to perform in terms of conversion. So you create two variations of landing page with a small change. Okay, maybe in one landing page you put up a VSL, a video, another landing page there is no video, just to check whether which one performs better, right? Maybe in one landing page you put up a form, fill up, other one you put up a Calendly meeting invite for people to book the calendar directly to check which one has a higher conversion. So whatever the use case is, you can create those small variation and then test it. You divide the traffic, send half the traffic to one landing page, send other half the traffic to another landing page, and see which one is actually performing better. And this is just one example. This A/B testing is not just for campaigns. It can be for ads, it can be for emails, it can be for landing pages, it can be for websites, it can be for even product customer UX, UI. It can have, it's across the board. You can do A/B test. Now the traditional A/B testing work like this. The marketers like us, we will decide on what we are going to test, right? And we will set the parameter. For example, two landing pages. One landing page has a video, other landing page does not have a video. And then we will run the ad, we will divide the traffic 50-50 to these two landing pages, and then we will test out. And then we'll see, okay, fine, the one with video is performing better, so I'll remove the second one. And then we'll come up with another, A/B testing model, right? And now this time, what we're going to do is we're going to make the header bigger and the header smaller or something like that. Okay, and then we will test it again. So it was slow, it was manual, and a lot of success and failure depends on our understanding of what we want. So it's up to the marketer and the knowledge and the skill of the marketer. I'm just using the term marketer here because that's who I am. The same can be said for designer and product developer and like so on when it comes to A/B testing. But I'm just using the marketing example here. So it's up to the marketer to decide, define, then test, and then conclude the hypothesis, right? So there will be definition of the hypothesis, then implementation of the hypothesis, and then conclusion from the hypothesis as to what really worked on, and then it needs to be continuously done, right? So the A/B testing traditionally used to take weeks and months for us to optimize anything for that matter. All right. So it was typically one-on-one. So one test it, remove one, then one, test it, remove one, and very slow as a process. Now, but with AI and deep personalization, things have changed. Now you can train the AI and with deep personalization, for example, email. You can just train the AI saying that, hey, you know what, AI, on the go, come up with 10 different variations of this email. All right. And these are the conditions of these variations. Put that. Come up with 10 or 100. There's no limit to it. And then you tell AI, okay, fine. Now you create a workflow. Okay, you create a workflow and then divide the traffic into 10 different emails or 100 different emails. AI can come up with 100 or 1,000 different variations in no time. You have to just, optimize it and create the right kind of prompts and conditions to train it. And then AI can do 1,000 variation test all at once. And it will basically take the decisions and come down to conclusions for you. So from one-on-one A/B testing, it has become multivariate at scale. Even you can now create, thanks to AI and apps like Lovable and others, you can create multiple landing pages using AI. You don't have to create those landing pages manually. So you can train the AI. The AI will call these applications, create multiple different landing pages based on different conditions, and test those variations all at once in no time. Okay, so AI can analyze the data sets in minutes, not in weeks, not in months, and AI can do real-time optimization with every campaign, whether it is an ad campaign, email campaign, WhatsApp campaign, whatever you are trying to do. And I'm purely talking from the marketing point of view. This can extend into other areas as well. All right. So we covered intelligent workflow and we covered, multivariate A/B testing. Okay, let's see the next one. Personalization at scale. So for everybody who do not understand what personalization means you try to personalize your campaign according to your audience's preference, behavior, and needs. For example, if I want to reach out to doctors, then I need to write an email which is personalized to their needs. For example, if you're reaching out to CIOs, then you need to reach out to them based on their personalized needs. And when you are trying to reach out to CFO, you need to personalize based on their needs. So maybe CFO's focus is on finances, and CIO's focus is on IT, on how to optimize the IT. So different people, different companies, different contacts have different needs, right? And it's good to always personalize rather than generic. For example, if you create a generic email, hey, we are a security company and we provide so security services, and you send a blanket email to CIOs and CFOs and CEOs and IT managers, right? Maybe IT manager will be able to relate to it a little bit, but most of the other people will not be able to relate to it. Like, how will CFO know all the technical jargons and all the technicalities of what your security services is? Maybe your IT manager will understand a little bit. So if you are not personalizing your campaign, your outreach, then many of the messages will hit the wall and come to dead ears, right? So that's why it's very important to do personalization. And traditionally, the traditional marketing automation tool, the email marketing tool, and an outreach tool, and the CRMs, they used to provide some level of personalization. We all are aware of. For example, hi, first name, your company needs this service. You can put up some quote unquotes and put some variables in those campaigns, and the same goes with the ad. And then you can personalize to a certain extent. Okay, but that personalization was manual, it was cumbersome. A lot of, I know companies used to put up an entire VA, virtual assistant team, just to add those information. Hey, you know what? Their LinkedIn profile, their last, post, the last college that they passed out from. So all of this stuff used to happen manually, and many of the companies that I have worked with, they used to employ a large scale virtual assistant and people who used to just update the information so that we can do the personalization on the outreaches. But you don't need to do that anymore. Okay. Now with AI, you can truly personalize at scale. So you can train the AI saying that, hey, you know what? Based on whatever the contact that you're going to send the email next, go find the contact information in the CRM. And if you don't find a lot of information in the CRM, call some of the APIs, okay, like LinkedIn API and all of that. Find out all the information, process it, right? Then based on that information, personalize the email, update the email, right? And then, send the email to or a LinkedIn message or a WhatsApp message, whatever, to that particular individual. Totally possible, right? So now the possibilities are endless and the personalization can truly be done at scale without too much of human manual work. Okay. So AI applies learning instantly, no waiting for manual adjustment, adapts in real time by industry, role, buying stage, behavior, so many other data points. And you can create a workflow in a sense that you can just get those information in real time, feed it to AI, let the AI decide on that, and then take the next action. Something that we cannot do it in manual. It'll be too cumbersome to do it manually. So campaigns evolve as buyers engage, ensuring relevance at every touch point. So AI can even learn whether they are opening the email, replying to the email, visiting your website, checking your LinkedIn profile. All of that data points can be collected, and AI can get those data points in real time. Of course, you have to do that integration, but AI can take those decisions as well. And then it moves from static segmentation to live adaptive personalization. So you don't have to just segment out, fine, this segment is for finance, this segment is for sales. No, AI is much more dynamic, and you don't have to do static segmentation. In fact, AI can go to a level of segmentation as to one person, right? So if you have 10,000 records in your contact and you need to reach out to all 10,000 of them, AI has the power and the potential and the capability to personalize things based on each and every person within that particular contact list. That's the power we are talking about. All right. Now, there's a little asterisk here, conditions that it's not just AI which will do that. You need a lot of different systems, automations, tools, all needs to work together as a system for this to work. AI will not send an email for you. AI will take a decision, but you still need a email sender, to send an email or a WhatsApp message or whatever it is. So all the system needs to be there. The data needs to be there. The data needs to be continuously enriched, right? So what we are talking about when we explain all those things and we use AI, the context here is that the AI is not independently working. It's working with your systems, working with your data, and then optimizing the entire system at scale. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next one. So orchestration and automation. Okay, now this is another very important topic. We were talking about, hey, how to do personalization, how to create intelligent workflows, and how to do A/B testing. AI can only take decisions, right? AI can only take decisions and put those decisions back. Okay, it is the workflows which will actually run the task. Okay, so the workflow will call the AI, then the AI will give the inputs and output, then it will come back to the workflow, and then based on that input and output, the workflow will. So the workflow is a system, right? It can be dynamic, it can be intelligent, but it is a system, right? So orchestration or automation becomes even more important than what it was 5 years back or 10 years back, right? And this is where tools like Clay and the N8Ns have become so powerful. And the reason why tools like Clay and N8N, which is automation tool, has become so powerful is because it's built in the era of AI. Traditional tools like HubSpot and Salesforce were built in the era of traditional legacy softwares. So they created workflows which basically, handled the legacy method of doing things, right? Which was manual. But the N8N and the clay is built in such a way that you can, create those workflows quickly, efficiently, changing a lot of things, and it's much more manual, and it's much more agile in terms of the execution, right? As compared to traditional softwares. Having said that, both Salesforce and HubSpot are coming with their own intelligent AI agents and automation. So I think they are catching up very soon. But this need for intelligent automation is what powered, companies like Clay and Anytime to grow so fast in the last couple of years, right? So when it comes to connecting the fragmented tools, platforms like Anytime and Clay becomes very, very important. So Clay or Anytime, for that matter, can connect all the API, the ChatGPT API, feed the information that based on that, take the decisions, then go ahead and call the CRM, enrich the data, then call the API again, the AI, the ChatGPT API, then take some more information, okay, and then based on that, it will call up say Lovable and create a landing page, right, and update the content on top of that. And also at the same time, it will go ahead and create the content for an email, call up the API for a tool like HubSpot or a Smart Lead or a reply.io, and then send an email to that particular prospect. So this kind of power is now available with systems like Clay and Anytime, right? So that fragility, that agility, not fragility, I'm sorry, the agility was required, and these platforms are filling up the gap. And that's the reason behind Clay and Anytime, just growing crazy, becoming like $1 billion company overnight. So build complex integrations without code. So they are also they are low code and no code. So Anytime is a low code system. Clay is a no code system. So you can build complex integrations and pipelines without code or very limited code, very fast, and it empowered marketers to be technologists or engineers. So that's where the GTM engineering came into the picture, right? So GTM stands for go to market, and engineering stands for engineering, right? So the tech and the go to market came together thanks to platforms like this, and now marketers have turned into technologists. Obviously, I still feel that the engineers are required to a large extent. I'm an engineer myself, so I sincerely I've been on both sides of the equation, the marketing side and the engineering side. There are some marketers who can do both, and there are some engineers who can do both. But I sincerely feel going forward, the engineers will still be required in large scale for these projects. All right, okay. So let's move on to the automation in action. Okay. So this is some of the use cases in terms of automation in action. Okay. So for any workflow to work, there are certain criteria, right? The first is, of course, a trigger. The second is the steps, right? So trigger happens, and then there are certain steps. The execution happens, and then there is an end to the workflow, right? So one of the automation can be, hey, high intent search on third-party platform, right? Like G2, for example. Call up the API or the information that is coming up, see what's going on in that particular thing. And if somebody visits the G2 profile based on that action, okay, you can get the company level information from G2 itself if you have the integration, and then analyze the company, find those decision makers within working in those companies, okay, and then send a sales alert to your business development team that somebody from this company has visited your G2 profile and checked your company's profile. So you can send a sales alert, okay, personalize the email, based on the company type and the nature and the industry and the location. You can personalize it, find the right decision makers working by in that company by calling up the Zoom Infos and the Apollo APIs. Find the people verify their email in real time, verify their phone number if needed, and then go ahead and send a LinkedIn message or an email in real time. That's the kind of power we are talking about. And we are already building this kind of application for our customers. It's totally doable, and it's changing everything. This is something that is not possible in traditional CRM. I mean, it is possible with a lot of effort. It is possible. It's just too much of work, right? But now with this, totally possible, right? So I just gave you one example here. The data foundation. Now, for anything to work, a lot of companies, they come to me and they say, we want to implement AI and AI agents and all. And the first thing that I ask is like, where do you store your data? And then some of them say, no, our data is scattered, we don't know. Some of them is in spreadsheets, some of them is in CRM, some product data is somewhere else. Then I say, the first step that you need to do is, to create a data foundation, create a data management system, data pipeline. Okay, put the data into one place, update the data, enrich the data. All of that needs to be done as a first step in many ways. For the companies who are not very disciplined in terms of data, there are companies, especially large companies, who are very disciplined with their data. They're using large ERP and other systems. So for them, it's a huge advantage for them to, then go ahead and do this AI transformation. It's much easier for them, as compared to a company who is just fragmented and the data is scattered everywhere. Because AI needs data to take any actions, right? To learn, to take a decision. If there is no data, what AI is going to work on, right? So data is the fuel for AI in many ways. So your own data is the first lowest hanging fruit when it comes to training the AI. And that is where we generally suggest our companies and customers to go ahead and with the project with. Data also decays quickly. So contact goes stale, job title changes, company growth. So it needs to be updated consistently, or else you need to have a system that can update the data systematically. Okay, and real-time enrichment for a comprehensive actionable. So you need to create what we call as the customer data profile. That means all your data needs to be in one place, and it needs to be continuously enriched and updated. There are systems out there, the CRM system, the CDP system, the data warehouse, all of that can be integrated. It can be done. This webinar is not about data management, data pipeline creation. This is not about that. Maybe I'll create another webinar on that. But if your data is a mess, then that is where you need to first start with. Don't jump right into the bandwagon of creating AI agents and putting AI into your systems. It's not going to be very effective if that's the case. Yeah, so this is what I was talking about, a unified 360-degree view. So that means all the data needs to be put into one place, even if it is physically not in one place, but to basically optimize the data in such a way that you can get a 360-degree view of the data. For example, if a buyer is there, the buyer might be there in your product database, in data warehouses. The same buyer information might be there on CRM. The same buyer information might be hanging around some spreadsheets, and the same buyer might be there on your website visiting you, in social media interacting. So all these things to be connected together, right? There are systems which can do that. Go beyond basic firmographics. Okay? Go beyond the job title and the location. Go to behavioral data. Go to technographic data, firmographic data. Go with you need to integrate all the data into one place so that the AI can learn quickly and take decisions quickly, right? Okay. And this is the key towards aligning the marketing and sales in a single source of truth. So if the source of truth is correct, then you can create a lot of work, automations and AI on top of it. But if the data layer is scattered and distributed, then it becomes very difficult. All right. So now the intent and the signal. Okay. In the traditional ABM, the intent and the signal were not. People were not emphasizing a lot on intent and the signal capture because the technology was not there. I think uh, the intents were there, the signal were there, but I sincerely feel the technology and the cost of those technology and the implementation was too high. But now, thanks to AI and data, which is getting more cost effective, cheaper day by day, now things are much better. So now we are living in an age of this new ABM, which we are going to talk about in the coming days, where we can actually capture intent and signals, right? So that means if somebody visits your website, that's an intent. You can capture that signal in real time. If somebody is visiting your G2 profile, you can capture the signal in real time and process it and do something about it in real time, and not to wait like 24 hours for your salesperson to come log into office and then, check and then do something about it. No, it can be done immediately. So the signals and the intent from different sources can be captured online in real time. The behavioral data, like downloading a white paper or posting a job or whatever. And you can move from reactive to proactive, right? Based on intent and signals, right? So reactive is like waiting for the prospect to eventually go ahead and fill up that contact us form. Instead of that, you can be proactive. That means, even if they came down to contact us page, they did not fill up the form, but you can proactively reach out to them and start the conversation, right? So in a way that I sincerely feel that the ABM that we are moving into is more proactive rather than reactive, right? In many ways, the B2B marketing is changing drastically, going from reactive mode to proactive, so sales rep do not need to just sit and a lead to come down to their pipeline for them to give them a call. Instead, now they have a lot more power with these new technologies in play. Okay, so how to turn signals into action? Okay, so once you identify there are signals, for example, somebody downloaded your white paper or somebody posted a job or somebody visited your website, you can get that signal, you can get the identity of the company or the person thanks to the technology like factors and RB2B. Okay, and then you can synthesize those information. You can find the intent using AI. Okay, you can trigger some alert. You can just tell your BDM, hey, you know what, this customer is back, checking out something, downloading something, or this prospect is back, and then engage the buyer in the precise moment that they are ready to buy or they are doing some action. So AI and automation can do all of the stuff which otherwise your sales team has to do, and they are more busy with more important things, right? Like creating a proposal and sending a proposal to your prospect. So let them do that important job, and AI can handle this kind of real time engagement very effectively, right? From the marketing and sales point of view. Right? So turning signals into action is where the real connecting of the dot is. That is where people like us comes into the picture. That is where the automations and the AI agents and all the services that we are offering comes into the picture, right? Because you can get the signal, but what you're going to do next? If you're still waiting for your sales team to, to go ahead and send an email, then you are missing on the point here, right? So that is where the automation and the AI agents and all this fancy stuff comes into the picture. All right, so here's the future of B2B marketing. So let me just wrap it up by these 2 points. The first is smarter, more effective, predictive workflows and with intent capture, faster, more adaptive automation, the AI, the engine that connects and optimizes everything, and real-time data automation and signal-driven strategies. So this is the future of B2B marketing, right? So all the stuff. So there was a traditional marketing, and now we are moving into the future of B2B marketing. Let's call it ABM 2.0. We have come up with this term, and we're going to keep talking about what ABM 2.0 is and how it fares to the traditional ABM, right? AI works as a co-pilot, as a partner, not as a replacement. It's not going to replace you, it's going to partner with you. And the foundation of ABM 2.0 is smart, more adaptive approach of B2B market, right? So we are entering into the new era. I hope that this information was valuable to you. We're going to talk more and more about ABM 2.0 going forward and what are the use cases. There are plenty of use cases that we are working on and we are learning every single day. The scale and the vastness of the opportunities is just humongous and insane in many ways. So we'll keep talking about it. Write down in the comment section ABM 2.0. I'm pretty sure you will have a lot of questions around this. We are just nudging, we are just testing, we are just giving out a little bit. It's like a trailer to a very long movie that's going to come up. ABM 2.0 is going to be so much smarter and better than the traditional ABM. And I think it's going to transform entire industries in the next 2 to 5 years. So, all right, thank you so much. With that, I want to wrap this up. I hope that you found this session useful. If you have any comments, please don't write down the comment. If you have any questions, write down the questions. We will continuously create more and more content around that. Thank you so much for joining in. Have a nice day ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye.